What's going on, y'all? Every day means every day, episode number 17. And in today's video, I want to shift your perspective about how to create change in your life. A lot of us, we want change, we seek change, we desire change, but most of us don't want to change. We want our bank accounts to change, but we don't want our work ethic to change. We want our bodies to change, but we don't want our workout routine to change. We want our results to change, our happiness to change, our purpose, our peace, our fulfillment in life to change. We want our mind state to change, but we don't want our mindset to change. At the end of the day, we all want to change our results, but very, very few of us want to change us. We want to change outputs without changing inputs. And quite frankly, that just isn't how life works. Really quick, I want to read you something that I posted on Threads today. By the way, make sure you're following me at IamBBurns. It says, life is hard. It's non-negotiable. But the way you experience that discomfort is negotiable. You get to decide if you want to suffer through the discomfort of growth or the discomfort of stagnation, the discomfort of creating something meaningful or the discomfort of existing in meaninglessness, the discomfort of the gym or the discomfort of poor health, the discomfort of hard work or the discomfort of lack of resources. Remember, you can't change life, but you can change your life. I think this is a meaningful topic because I see so many people who, quite frankly, are arrogant enough to try and play God and try to change the structure of life itself. People spend so much of their lives attempting to remove adversity, to remove difficulty, to remove discomfort, to remove challenges. But I don't think that's the point of life. As a matter of fact, I think that's the antithesis of the point of life. I think that if you try and remove adversity, challenge, difficulty, growth, what you're removing is life itself. I think that's the essence of spiritual suicide. I mean, if what you're really doing is trying to make sure that you never run into any adversity, you never have to struggle through any discomfort, you never have to struggle through any difficulty or challenges. I mean, what you're really trying to run towards is emptiness, nothingness, death at the end of the day is what that is. And you don't want that to be your goal because you might just find it. You might not actually experience a physical death, but you will certainly experience the death of who you could have been. You'll experience a death of meaning. You'll experience a death of purpose, because comfort is not the ultimate purpose for any of our lives. I think if you look at any great individual who's ever lived, that's very, very clear. It's not comfort. It's not ease. It's not extravagance. It's not even abundance. It's something like meaningful contribution to something greater than yourself. And I think the easiest and most direct path to doing that is becoming the greatest version of you. Because if you are the fully actualized version of yourself, the version of you that has no potential left on the table, just realities, all those potentialities that exist within you, they've been turned into something. They've been cashed in. They've been turned into reality. I think that is the most direct path to meaning, to purpose, quite frankly, to financial success, to being able to lead others effectively. And if you're not focused on doing that, you're focused on something that is antithetical to life itself, in my opinion. Because again, if you're running away from the challenges, you're running away from the adversity, you're running away from the growth, you're running away from the very thing that's going to help you grow into the person that you could be, should be, and owe it to yourself and to society, and I would argue to God, to be. Before we get too deep into this, I got a couple of quick points that I wanted to mention. I wrote them down to make sure that I don't forget them. But even before we go there, remember, if you're looking to optimize your habits, if you're looking to improve your mental toughness or your physical fitness, head over to everydaymeanseveryday.com. See, I got the shirt on today. Everydaymeanseveryday.com and go check out our free ebook. It's a great resource to help get you started. With that being said, a couple points as it relates to this topic. Number one, depth is required for meaning. I think that if you were to graph life on a piece of graphing paper and somewhere up here is the highest of highs, this is your child being born, it's the exit of your company, it's winning a competition that you've always wanted to, it's whatever that pinnacle is for you. That's at the top. And then down here is a loved one passes away, you go through a bankruptcy, you have a health crisis, like the lowest of the low, right? Meaning exists in the gap. Meaning exists in the space that is created between these 2 points. If life was like this, we've all heard the cliche quote that if your life isn't going up and down, if it's flatlining, that means it's dead. You've seen a heart monitor. If it's like that and there's no movement, that is death. And I think that that's the truth. I think that if life didn't have any contrasts, there would be no meaning. My dad told me the story one time. It was when I was at Michigan and I was struggling with getting cut from the team every single year. And my dad said, I don't know what movie he was referencing, but he said, I watched this movie one time and the main character played the role of God. And this other character came to God and said, I don't understand you, God. I don't understand why you do the things you do. You don't make any sense to me. If you're as good as everybody says you are, then why is there so much tragedy? Why is there so much suffering? Why are there so many bad things happening to good people in life? And God thought about it for a moment and he said, there was only one thing that I could never figure out. And the other character, who's all frustrated and upset, said, well, what's that? And God goes, I couldn't figure out how to make up without down, left without right, wrong without right. That's the one thing I couldn't figure out. And when he said that, it made so much sense to me, because how would you know that good is good if you didn't know about bad? I mean, and we could go forever into the analogy of the garden and the fruit of the forbidden tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Like, we could go forever into that. But even just keeping it on the surface level here, how would you feel if you had some giant success in your life and you'd only ever been equally as successful? Like, just, you can't even conceptualize that. It's like, I sold my company for $100 million, but every single day, $100 million gets deposited into my bank account out of thin air. Okay, well, are you happy and excited when you sold your company? Probably not. If you were happy and excited, it wouldn't be because of the $100 million, because that had been constant. You would be happy and excited because it was a grind and a struggle, and you had to work and you had to apply yourself towards something consistently for a long time, and you'd be proud of the result that you achieved. But again, if you had been completely unstressed, completely happy, completely not even dedicated to the work, and then all of a sudden it just spontaneously appeared and it was already built and then you sold it, it's like, you see where I'm going with this? You can't build up without simultaneously building down to an equal depth. The meaning comes from the juxtaposition of the two. You don't get meaning from only high highs or only low lows. If hell was all we knew, it would just be all we knew, right? And so you have to have depth in order to create substance to life. So I think that whole idea of, running around trying to change life, trying to change, I want to avoid sacrifice. I want to avoid difficulty. I want to avoid discomfort. It's like, well, you're kind of taking the meaning out of life. Going back to what we said earlier, spiritual suicide. You're taking the life out of life. It's not very smart. Number two, there's a big difference between forcing you to change versus forcing the world to change. This is something that affects my community a lot because I'm an entrepreneur. And so I speak with a lot of entrepreneurs. I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs in my career as a speaker. And you get this grind hustle mentality, like the David Goggins, go take it, go get it type of vibe. And I love it. I love it. I speak to a lot of athletes in my career as well. And that's something that I tell them, hey, nobody's going to give it to you. You have to go take it. Here's the thing, though. When I'm saying that, I'm not saying use your great will and divine power to go change the structure of the world, which is what a lot of people are subconsciously trying to do. Again, I don't want to work hard. I don't want to sacrifice. I don't want to have good habits. I don't want to. Okay, well, that's great that you don't want to do that, but that's how the world works. So when I'm telling athletes or entrepreneurs, go take it, go make it happen, go exert your will, force this thing to come true, what I'm telling them is not go bend the world to your will. I'm saying go bend yourself to your will. I'm saying use your higher level consciousness to change you. Because if you get to a point where you say, I'm going to force this to happen, and then you go practice 10 times as hard as you used to every single day in practice, and then you go win a championship, you didn't change the exterior world around you. What you did is change you. You changed internally your work ethic, your standards, your expectations, your habits, your routines. your training practices. You changed you. You changed your essence of who you are. You didn't change anything external. You changed everything internal. And I think like that nuance gets lost on people sometimes. And people take this surface level mentality of just go make it happen. It's like, well, it's a great idea. But how do you make it happen? How do you just will yourself to make something happen, to go accomplish something? It's not by a force that you exert on the outside world. It's by a force that you exert on your inside world. And in doing so, the new you responds differently to the external world. Think about it that way. Okay, last but not least, I wrote down, isn't it a beautiful thing to be able to alchemize what you're given? Isn't it empowering to say, hey, life, you're not going to catch me unprepared? Okay. Isn't it more empowering to say, I actually can't change the structure of reality, but what I can do is change me to such an extent that that structure of reality that most people view as tragic and negative and horrible and requiring so much suffering and pain and sacrifice throughout the normal course of one's life, that hero's journey that we all go through, isn't it more empowering to say, I'm not going to try and change that, but I'm going to become somebody so great that I'm able to take that pain, that suffering, that struggle, that sacrifice, and turn it into something beautiful and good, something worthwhile, something purposeful, something meaningful, something of real substance? To me, that's empowering. Trying to be this rat that's finding an escape route, that's not empowering. That's weak. That makes you look like a little girl. Like I don't see where's the energy in that? Like where's the masculine presence in that? Like this is just weak. You're just looking for an escape route. But being bold enough to say, all right, life, I got you. I got you. I understand. Bet. This is what you're going to throw at me? Cool. I got it. But you're not going to catch me unprepared. I'm going to take that and throw it right back at you. And I'm going to use it to become something the world has never seen before. That's power. That's power. Being able to face it head on. Being able to confront it head on. Not looking for a way out. Not looking to escape the pain. Not trying to ease it or numb it in any way. Just confronting it and dealing with it. That's something you can be proud of. No matter how the results turn out, that's something you can be proud of. I hope this video blessed you. Remember, go check out everydaymeanseveryday.com. Get your habits in order. Get your mental fitness in order. Get your physical fitness in order. And I will see you on the next episode of Every Day Means Every Day. Peace.